start with economic zoology today. So these are the questions that are expected from this chapter in regards to sericulture, pisciculture, vermiculture, lac culture, prawn culture and apiculture. So that will be the first segment that we'll be dealing with. So we'll start with apiculture and sericulture today. So we'll look at the questions just as a brief. So how are pearls culture? Describe economic importance of pearl culture. Describe the principal steps in apiculture and add a note on various aspects of rearing techniques. Discuss the status and scope of prawn culture in India. Mention economically commercially viable and cultivable species of freshwater and brackish water prawns. What is meant by vermiculture and list various species suitable for vermiculture. Also explain techniques and importance of vermicomposting. How is composite carp culture advantages over traditional carp culture? What is lac culture? Explain methodology employed in lac culture. Describe uses of lac. Describe names of any 4 diseases of silkworm and their causal agents. Scientific names, source of infection, symptoms and management. Vermiculture per se. And what is apiculture? Describe various methods of beekeeping and also a note on uses of honey. That is a traditional question pattern that has been asked. So we'll start basically with apiculture. So what exactly is apiculture? Rearing and management and caring of honeybees is apiculture. Okay. So what do we expect out of rearing or management or beekeeping? What is the final product that we are expecting? Is it honey alone or is it something else? Okay, honey and beeswax. Okay, so apiculture is the scientific method of rearing honeybees. Word apiculture comes from Latin word which means apis, okay, meaning honeybee also. So apiculture or beekeeping is the care and management of honeybees for the production of honey and wax. Honeybees are found all over the world and active throughout the year, but generally during winter they might go into a dormant sort of state is what we see. Species of honeybees, so generally 3 or 4 species are generally found. So Apis dorsata is the largest species that we see, yields a max amount of honey in comparison to other types of honeybees. Single comb of Apis dorsata will yield up to 60 pounds of honey, which is the maximum yield. Other bees in comparison will only yield 6 to 7 pounds in entirety. So this one single entity's entire comb will give you 60 to 70 pounds of honey. Workers are smart and active, pollinate around 12,000 flowers daily, ferocious and irritable in nature, and specific hive requirements make migratory habits make it impossible to domesticate them for beekeeping. Also known by the names like giant honeybee, sarang and bombara, 20 millimeter in length. So generally when we take honeybees for rearing or cultivating or for beekeeping, the main criteria that is to be noted is that how aggressive they are or how adaptable they are to their environment. So generally these species like dorsata, they are very aggressive and they are not easily domesticatable. So because of which keeping them in beehives and extracting honey after they are bred becomes quite difficult because they sting a lot. Okay, so generally these are not taken for apiculture. So Apis indica, that is a local Indian species found in forests and plains of India, prefer living in dark places. Species is gentle in nature and can be domesticated easily. Honey production is 6 to 7 pounds per comb, but that is a general bee that we use. Okay, so it gives good result. The honey produced is sweet. It is easily domesticated and it doesn't sting that much, and the yield production is generally constant with Apis indica. So all over India we generally do not go for a foreign breed of honeybee. We generally use our endemic variety of bees, and Apis indica is the general bee that we use. Okay, so Apis florea, small bees not gregarious, yield of honey is very less due to docile nature and rare stinging behavior. Combs are not removed easily for honey extraction, forms single combs as well. Okay, so these are docile, which means that whenever we approach they might run away, so it's not easy for them to be bred or captured and taken to a honeycomb and be cultivated per se. Okay, so the generally the comb structure that comes with honeybees is that it produces a hexagonal comb like structure. Okay, so this hexagonal comb like structure keeps on accumulating. ഇതിൻ്റെ താഴെ വേറൊന്ന് വരും, ഇങ്ങനെ ബിൽഡ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കും. Okay, but with this one it will only be in one single layer. ചെറിയ ഹണി ബീസിൻ്റെ കോമ്പർ ഒരു എൻ്റയർ ലൈൻ ലീനിയർ ആയിട്ട് മാത്രമായിരിക്കും പൊക്കോണ്ടിരിക്കുക, താഴോട്ട് എലോങ്ങേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത് വരത്തില്ല. There are certain honeybees which only produce combs in one single linear pattern. Small honeybees which are docile, which are not generally seen forming large colonies or large broods, they generally form small colonies and small hives as it is, and hence they are not taken for commercial beekeeping or apiculture. Okay, so Apis mellifera, European bee, produces less honey, but it is found to be the best species for commercial purpose. The entire Europe continent per se uses or utilizes this species for production of honey. Docile nature helps in domestication, can be improved by breeding for hundreds of years. Italian varieties are reared mostly in Europe and America. Okay, so the bees that are commercially taken are generally re-engineered, or they are crossbred to finally produce the ultimate species, which gives us much more enhanced honey and bee wax production in a short period of time. So we are trying to enhance the production of honeybees by recombinant DNA technology or by crossbreeding with different suitable species, so that an ultimate new species is created which yields a good result in terms of bee wax and honey production. So it is easy to re-engineer the product or re-engineer Apis mellifera in such a case and produce new generation of honeybees which provide a good yield എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. Docile എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ they are very calm and they are very shy in nature, because of which they are generally they adapt to any condition and അവിടെ ബ്രീഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും അവരെ പെട്ടെന്ന്, അതാണ് docile എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. So the hive consists of hexagonal cells which are made up of wax secretions from the abdomen of worker bees. Hives hang vertically from their support structures like tree barks, roofs, etc. We have seen the social organization of a honeybee comb. നമ്മൾ അതിൻ്റെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് workers ഉണ്ട്, queen bee ഉണ്ട്, drones ഉണ്ട്. We have seen that organization earlier in arthropoda. So we'll just go with the structure of the honeybee comb. Okay, so each hive has thousands of hexagonal fragile thin wall cells arranged in a row on a common base. Gums and resins secured from plants are used for repairing the hives. Young stages occupy the lower and central cells in the hive, and these are known as brood cells. Okay, so young honeybees generally occupy the lowermost portion or the central portion of the hive is what they say. So these chambers are known as brood cells. In Apis dorsata, the largest honeybee that we said, the first one, brood cells are similar in shape and size to other cells, while in other species brood cells are of three types: drone cells for drones, queen cells for queen, and worker cells for workers. So in dorsata all the cells will be of one single shape and size, whereas in other species, all the other species that we said, it will be of three categories, each for queen, drone, and worker. Queen cells can only be used a single time compared to other cells. No special cells for lodging the adults, as the adults keep moving around inside the colony. Okay, so the reason that they move around or they do not have a cell is because the honey that these honeybees collect and store in their crop and then they pour into the cells or inside the hexagonal cells has to be cooled down. Okay, and it has to be solidified. This happens due to the motion of air or passage of air, which is inculcated by the beating of wings of the honeybee. Okay, so as the bees move inside, they will flap or beat their wings, because of which air circulation happens inside the hive, and as a result air passes through and the emitted or the extracted or regurgitated honey solidifies and settles down. So that is the mechanism. Okay, so we'll look at the mechanism of settling of honey and fermentation of honey later. So as of now, just remember that the bees inside, the adult or the worker bees, except for the queen, they roam around inside the hive continuously. They do not have any resting cells inside the hive. The cells of the upper portion are mainly intended for storage of pollen and honey. Okay, so if we are drawing a honeybee structure, what we have seen in cartoons and all that, if it's a tree bark, this is the general shape of a honeybee comb. Okay, so we are saying that each of these will have line like structures or row like structures. Inside these rows, cells will be placed in hexagonal fashion. Okay, so Top portions are for collection of honey and pollen. Middle portions will be your brood chambers. Lower ones are occupied by immature elements or developing entities. Just for understanding, okay, ഇതാണ് ഒരു hive ന്റെ structure എന്ന് പറയാം.